Hey, thanks for checking out the commentary for Distant God. Be sure to stick around after the video for an in-depth look of what it was like to make the movie.
You are not a distant God. You are not who they say you are. That has never been your heart. You are not hiding like a father to a wounded child, present in the peace and in the wild. Not a second I would live this life without you beside me. And even when the road is long, even in the heat of battle, even when the lights go out, you are there. Not a distant God. We are not moving miles apart. The maker of the sea and stars is standing beside me. 'Cause even when the road is long, even in the heat of battle, even when the lights go out, you are there.
All right, so Distant God, there you have it. We found this great cabin that we rented out by some water, and we weren't sure. We knew we wanted to incorporate water because that was the transitional element out of I Will Wait.
Yeah.
And so we got there. There was a canoe. We talked to the owners. We figured out what was available, and it worked out great. And the cabin was just so awesome. Just tons of little knickknacks everywhere and things to play off of. But it all started in a canoe in the middle of the water. And you were so stoked.
In December, I was super excited.
I think earlier I said that maybe our only fight
be...
was by my side, trying to get you to be playful, but this was definitely...
The original idea that I was going to be fully underwater in the freezing cold, and then we moved from that into canoe in the middle of the lake. But what we didn't understand was that the day that we shot this thing was probably the windiest day ever.
Yeah.
And so I had to get that canoe out pretty far out away from the shore and the dock.
Yeah, that drone shot.
So
you didn't want to have anything.
We didn't have anything around.
Yeah.
So I had to get that out. So once I got out there, I had to start paddling back, and the wind was blowing so hard that I couldn't paddle. It kept pushing me further and further away.
Yeah.
And you kept going.
You're mad right now.
Oh, I was mad.
I'm still smiling.
Because you were like, we got to do it one more time. And I'm like, bro, you better get this shot. Because I'm not doing it again.
Yeah.
Like, I could not.
As you were paddling, after I called it and I said, all right, we got it. I don't even know if you heard me. I think you just started digging that paddle in and you screamed, "You better have got that shot!" You're mad. Even that, I mean, just full disclosure, it was like, we didn't talk for probably about a half hour.
Yeah,
after that, we're like, we need
separation.
I think we need to calm down going into this, because it's a pretty intimate, explorative video.
I was not in the right headspace for it.
Not after that. No. So I apologize.
But it was good. I went and sat by the fire and calmed down.
Yeah.
It was good. And it looked awesome. But it was the workout.
Yeah.
Trying to get back.
And so then we come up into this cabin.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about a distant God.
To a place that I feel like I know.
Yep.
But at the same time, it feels new to me again.
Yeah.
There's been so many times in my life where I felt like I've realized that my perception of God has been greatly dictated by my perception of my father. And my dad's amazing, but he's a minister, and like most people who are been ministers, kids and like that, have struggled with their parents being around or their perception of their parents being around.
Right.
And that's kind of how my perception of God has been. Is yes, he's great and fully aware of me, but he's got bigger things to deal with than me.
Yeah.
And so that's where all this kind of came about, was just realizing that even in the midst of all of this, where we feel like we're not seen and we're not acknowledged in the things that we walk through, that there's still a God that loves us and cares for us and has created a place that is familiar for us and is a place to come home to.
Yeah, so the idea being, as you're exploring this place, there's some sort of, we don't understand why, but you're kind of remembering things or elements. It's all very familiar.
Yeah.
And then another interesting tidbit about this one was the truck that you find. So the idea, without giving out too much, because you got to go watch a couple videos down to see how this cabin plays out. But it's all familiar, and then you didn't go into some random place and just start playing with stuff. Right. There's an idea that this is a familiar place, and so when you walk out, you find this truck.
Yeah.
Now, finding this truck was a challenge.
It was.
We didn't know what truck we were going to use. We wanted to use we originally were going to use the white pickup, but then after we exhausted that on Come As You Are, it's like, well, we need another truck.
Yeah. So
we're sitting at breakfast, eating some bagels.
Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah. Yeah, you reached out.
Yeah.
We found this black
Bronco.
Yep.
Yeah, and it was our Dodge Ram.
Right.
It was. And ended up going and meeting the guy. He was awesome and was like, "Hey, why don't you guys just use it?" Like, didn't charge us anything.
We told him, it was like, "Hey, we're not interested in buying it,
but
we just while it's sitting, could we rent it from you?" And when we went and met him, he was just like, "You know what? I feel like something's moving in me. I just want you guys to use it." So a stranger, no connections, no mutual friends whatsoever, let us take his truck for 2 days.
Yeah, longer than that. I
3 days.
We had it for a week or something. Yeah, it was crazy.
Either way,
we took it.
We took a guy's truck on good faith. We brought it back.
We did.
In slightly dirtier.
Yeah.
But I think it worked out.
I washed it.
Did you?
I think
You probably did. You're a good guy like that. You would wash it.
Maybe.
We probably gave it at least a half a tank of gas, too. All right. Well, Distant God, hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to check out the next one going into You Know Me.